Hey y'all, happy Wednesday. So you know what today is. It's my Wednesday point. And it's not a point. I have 3 reasons why you're not standing on your story. 3 reasons why you're not telling your story. You're not using your story. You see your story as a disadvantage instead of advantage. I want to say this. Your story is not your story, right? But your story can lead to your success. I'm going to say it again. Your story is not your story, but your story leads to success. What do I mean by that? A lot of us have an ugly story, right? Some stuff that we wish we never even had to talk about. Let's be honest. Especially if you was a male and you was touched in any kind of way, that will definitely bring up words or insecurities about your sexuality. So your story is not your ending point. That's what I mean by your story is not your story, which means your story does not define you. Your story is not your identity. However, it's a part of you, right? Because it happened to you, but it's not the ending of your story. When you're trying to put a period, God wants to put a comma. God wants to give you a new beginning, right? He wants to give you a second chance. He wants to give you a new life. He wants to align you with some new friends. He wants to bring you into a new city. He wants to put you with the person that's going to love you unconditionally, even when those other relationships hurt you. But you're looking at your story as a period. You're looking at your story as a disgrace. You're looking at your story as no one cares, right? And I want to give you 3 reasons why you're not standing on your story. Number 1, fear. You are afraid of what other people may say and what other people may think. Once again, remember I just said, especially if you was a male and you was touched in any kind of way, that's a part of your story, but that does not identify who you are as a male. It does not identify your sexuality. It does not identify who you are called to be, right? Even though, so you are afraid if I go forth and say this, then people's going to think this. It does not matter what they think, but what you're doing is you're helping other people to tell their story, to sit on their story, so they can come forth and live out the thing that God have for them to live out, right? Number 2, you feel like your story doesn't matter. You feel like your story have no significance. Like, who is my story going to help? A lot of people. I want you to think about everyone that you look up to right now, whether it's TD Jakes, whether it's Lisa Nichols, whether it's Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher, whether it's whoever it is that you look up to, right? Not idolize, but you admire, that inspire you. I want you to look at this from this standpoint. What is it that drew you to that person, that inspired you? It was their story. It was what they overcame. So don't look at your story as it doesn't matter, but look at your story as my story is the blueprint for someone else's deliverance and someone else breakthrough. Look at your story as that, right? And start writing it. And number 3, you have the lack of resources. You don't have the lack of resources. You have the lack of faith and you have the lack of interest to tell your story. Because whatever you want to do, God's going to make sure it's in your reach. I'm going to give you an example and I'm going to make this really quick. When back in 2017, right, God told me to write a book. And I was like, well, God, I don't know how. I know I want to write one, but I really don't know how. God raised up a young lady named Shamika Dean that I still follow to this day. And she ended up opening up this class to help you to learn how to structure your book and to write your book. She imparted in me what she had in her. So it's not the fact that you have lack of resources. You're using it as an excuse to say why you are not standing on your story. And if you want that resource, DM me, release my sound, and I have a course that will help you structure your story, release your sound, and also to be able to write as a storyteller and not just writing a whole bunch of gibba gabba together. So I love you guys. Stay encouraged, stay inspired, and stay motivated. And I want to tell you to stand on your story. I don't care who it is. I don't care who's trying to stop you. Stand on your story, because nobody can tell your story like you can tell your story. Nobody can move the audience like you can move your audience. Come forth and tell your story and watch how God send the people in your path that you need. If you need a resource, hit a link inside this video. Well, I'm gonna have it in the comment section to go over and get your course today, or you can DM me, Release My Sound, and I will send you over the material that you need to release your sound in this earth in this hour. See you.